Yo, Gentleman's Game here. Real quick, before the video starts, if you want to apply for a one-on-one coaching call, make sure to fill out the link below to see if you'd be a good candidate for us to work together. You know, growing up, I always had this feeling that I didn't quite fit in. It was like I would look at social interactions between my classmates and wonder, how do you guys do it? How do you know how to be cool? How to be popular? How to be well-liked by your peers? It was like other people had this secret code to be inside the cool kids club that I was simply unaware of. And this feeling of being an outsider obviously carried over whenever I found myself talking to a girl I liked. Whereas some guys were simply naturals, I would feel anxious in my head, not knowing at all how to relate to a girl, let alone be charming or smooth. All of these bad experiences, making myself look like an idiot with some cute girl, feeling unattractive and awkward around others, it led to a lot of trauma that carried over even throughout college. I projected a lot of my previous negative experiences with others onto new people that I'd meet. And it'd be this quite nasty downward spiral where any woman I'd meet could feel my negative mental state and be repulsed by it, which only reinforced those depressed narratives going on in my head about how I was a loser, how nobody liked me, etc. Eventually, I made the decision to take drastic action to get a girlfriend out of desperation. And so I went through a 2-month period where I was approaching women every day, just spamming approaches. My thinking was that, hey, even though I'm super awkward, my game is trash, it's all a numbers game. So if I approach like 100 women over the course of weeks, then eventually one of them would be my girlfriend, right? And at that point in my life, it was a good experience for me, because it quickly forced me to develop certain skills like maintaining eye contact and keeping a conversation flowing, while keeping her engaged while not threatened. It was a good character building experience, and in a lot of ways, I'd argue it's what started my process of becoming a grown man, self-actualized. But the thing was, it wasn't built on any substance. I'd have to go out 2 to 3 days a week, walk around for hours with some friends, and cold approach women just to hopefully get one date a week. The result to effort ratio was just really not good yet. And it's because I hadn't sorted out the other areas in my life as a high-value dude. I was still slightly overweight, I had just started working a job, which I pretty much immediately hated. I barely had any money saved, still living at home with mom and dad, spending most of my weekends watching YouTube videos and playing video games. Still feeling pretty confused and lost about a lot of things. See, I quickly realized that my original strategy simply wasn't sustainable over the long term. Between work, maintaining a social life, trying to go to the gym a few times a week, I simply wasn't able to go out and spend hours cold approaching women without sacrificing other parts of my life. I was starting to get frustrated all over again, like, why am I the only one who can't balance approaching girls with the other areas of my life? Other dudes seem to have hot girlfriends while working out every day, leveling up their career, going out on weekends. Meanwhile, I'm still spending entire weekends approaching girls on the street just to hopefully get a date. I realized that the reason I had put so much effort in approaching lots of women just to get some results was because I hadn't built myself into a man who met women naturally. I was still doing all the chasing, still putting women on a pedestal, still desperate and operating from a mindset of scarcity. Eventually, I reached a crossroads. Something had to give. I simply didn't have the physical and emotional bandwidth to be doing all this. And so I made the decision to stop with the 3 to 4 hour sessions where I'd be walking around the streets of Manhattan aimlessly to cold approach any cute girl I saw. For the next 3 years, I quietly put my head down and worked. I passed a few cybersecurity certifications and got a much higher paying job, which I actually found interesting, while building this YouTube channel on the side. I reached out to some old friends again, as well as making new ones from being more socially active. I started eating healthier and going to the gym regularly, getting back in shape. I started building life experiences in general, like going on a 3-month solo trip through Japan and Mexico, training Muay Thai in Phuket, and visiting wildlife conservation centers in Costa Rica. I started having cool life stories that I could tell people at parties, where just through my life experiences, people thought I was a badass. And through this continual journey of bettering myself as a man, I've noticed something interesting the older I've gotten, which is that nowadays, I put in way less effort in approaching women than I did in my early 20s, and yet my results have more than 5x'd. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have to initiate, but nowadays, a typical interaction would be me catching a girl looking at my direction or staring at me, and when we lock eyes, she'll either look away nervously or smile. And then it's simply on me to not be a wuss and introduce myself. See, your biggest takeaway from this should be that if you put in the work, success is inevitable. As long as you're reflecting on what it is you need to improve on, and then taking the necessary actions to shore up that weakness, then you become a more well-rounded dude. Someone who's just naturally going to easily vibe with and give value to women with just your presence. So here's my advice. If you have some glaring weakness, fix it. Fat? Lose weight. Dress like a slob? Invest a couple $100 into a good wardrobe. Can't afford to take women out on dates? Get a job you like, or start planning different income streams you can build. If you're severely socially anxious or awkward around women, spend like a month or two, like I did, just putting yourself into social situations so that you can start to understand certain body language tactics like eye contact, slowing down your speaking, and how to carry a conversation, like flirting and tapping into that fun, playful energy that women love. When you do all this, approaching women becomes something that you don't really even need to go out of your way to do. Your lifestyle will naturally invite women into your life because women can sense the guy you are. You won't need to fake it because you'll carry yourself like you've already made it. So that's it for the video, just a message I wanted to share about approaching women, which is that the end goal should always have your lifestyle on point, so that half the work is already done for you once that girl is in front of you. Next week, I have another banger you're not going to want to miss, so make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Peace.